Welcome to another edition of NNPA and Black Press USA. I'm your host, Taylor Thomas. The excitement has been building up all week long. As soon as we sent out the social media tweets that we were going to have this phenomenal, dynamic musical duo on the program, I want to formally introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to Kindred The Family Soul. We are so excited to have them joining us tonight. Hello.
Hello.
Teen and Aja, they make up the dynamic, soulful couple, Kindred The Family Soul. I am so excited to see you guys tonight.
We're excited to be here with you. Thank you very much for having us.
Well, we're excited. We know that tonight is all about you two and what you're doing and your 7th album. But before we get into that, it's something that everyone's dealing with is COVID-19. First, I want to ask you how you are doing.
We're doing good, actually. Thank God we are healthy. And the two of us have, like I said, our bodies are healthy. Our children are healthy. And, we've made it through this year without having to deal with, any illnesses associated with COVID and, without getting COVID. So, everything else is
Very
just, that's the number one blessing, and everything else just kind of follows. So we're doing well.
When this hit a year ago, automatically, can you tell me what that changed other than going obviously and touring? How did that change your life professionally?
Outside of
touring?
Touring is our professional life for the most part. So like that is the huge part of, the cutoff of the connection with us, with going and touching the fans. That is how we have really sustained ourselves for the past 20 years, of course, by making music that people appreciate and respect and stream and purchase. All of those things as well help what we do. But professionally, a lot of our job was going out and touring. So when that was cut off, there is no real, what else? It kind of like that was the main thing.
I will say we also were really in the process of making this current album, and we didn't have to pause.
Yeah, but that stopped that as well.
Yeah, that stopped that as well.
You couldn't connect even to make the music in that way.
Right.
We don't necessarily make the music at home, but we've gotten a little bit more adapting to what we have to do, as everybody has during this past year.
Yeah.
So, with the pandemic, I'm sure obviously you said you're not on the road. What's your day like now that there's the pandemic? We still have mask restrictions in most states. What's your day? Are you still getting up at 6 or 3 or 5 or later than that?
Well, we still have to wake up and get the children ready for school because we have 6 children in total.
Whoa.
And
5 in the house.
And 5 in the house. Our oldest one, and he lives alone. But my youngest are all in school. So we still get up, not as early as we used to have to get up because we don't have to get all dressed up and out and do that kind of thing. So during the week is pretty similar, and somebody has to kind of be at home. So, not that there's anywhere else to go these days, but there's that part. But we also were able to, and it was just such a blessing that we moved a lot of our professional life into our office and studios. And when we did that, that was a great opportunity for us to continue our creative endeavors outside of the home. So that becomes a place where we can go, and we're here now, where we can go and
do things like this.
Do this.
Right.
Exactly.
So with 5 kids at home, are all of them going into school? I mean, that's a lot to juggle with one child, which I have. That's a lot. And a career.
We have to make sure everybody's on the computer. Everybody is, attentive. Sometimes that can be a little challenging because if I'm doing business, somebody might nod off.
They're dealing with a very similar unorthodox scenario as well this year. And I think that a lot of parents and a lot of people who their professional lives have been interrupted. We've somewhat forgotten about children's lives and the way that their orthodox life has been altered as well during this state. I mean, you might recognize it and see it, but we're not them, and we're not they're experiencing something for the very first time as well. That's very unique.
We've had to listen to what it is they really want, Because sometimes as parents, we can kind of say, oh, let's do this because this will make you feel better, or let's make sure you do this or do that. And sometimes they just are not interested in that. And now that my children are not small, my youngest child is 11. Now they can speak for themselves. They have ways that they want to deal with all of this. So really the priority around the house has just been listening to how they feel and making sure their mental health is really intact. So that's been the priority at our home. I mean, they're in school from 8 to 3 o'clock respectively, depending on the school. And after 3 o'clock, they take a little break. Sometimes my son goes and rides his bike. Sometimes, when the weather permits, my girls, they are interacting more with their friends through, Zoom or through FaceTime. And so little things I might not have allowed before are things
right.
I kind of have to give them a little bit more room on because, they're trying to, adhere. And as you can see, that's worked for us, and adapt, because we've been pretty strict about them being at home. And thank God, because, like I said, we've not had the virus, touch our family in that way.
So do you kind of look at the school system differently? Are you one of those parents that think, hey, I think the kids need to get back into school? I mean, I think all parents want that, but are you wanting to wait, or are you like, listen, as soon as they tell me I can send my child, I'm sending my children?
Although I identify with parents who want their children to go back to school, because there are many reasons why.
Sure.
There are some parents who do not have the option of working at home. And obviously there are also some parents who are dealing with issues of food insecurity and all kinds of different issues, children who may have special needs. So there's lots of reasons why some parents are really like, listen, when can I take them back to school? Sure. However, for me, I'm not in any rush. In fact, I'm a big proponent of homeschooling, actual homeschooling, not virtual homeschooling. I'm a big proponent of homeschooling. I've never done it over the years, but it's something that I had been really, working toward. And this was an opportunity to see
everything
what it might
happens
be like.
for a reason.
Yeah. So, it's been a tussle with the school districts and everything. So yeah, I identify with parents on both sides, but for me, no, I'd rather my children be home safe with me.
Is there any one thing, as you being parents, that was helpful that perhaps you can share with our listeners if they have kids, since you have an age range, that may be helpful for them?
Listening to them.
Okay.
I think it's very difficult as adults to listen to children without, jumping in with our input. I think sometimes it's a good idea, not sometimes, I think it's a good practice to really listen and hear what they have to say and give them the benefit of understanding their own, being self-aware, because children are just really highly intelligent.
They really are.
Very tapped in, and we have a lot to learn from them.
Now, you talked about that you two moved your studio into your home now because of COVID. So have you been more creative with your songs? Because your songs, oh my goodness, before once we confirmed that you guys were coming on board, I said I was going to go back and listen. Stars, oh my goodness. I mean, there's so many. Far Away. I know what I was doing when I heard those songs. Do people tell you that?
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we've been very blessed with many, many stories about what the song is in terms of a backdrop to the experiences in people's lives. And, all of that is, extremely gratifying because, you think of the places that you were when the music was created and, how you never really expected or assumed that it would travel and be received in those ways that you're just really grateful for. But you also said that we moved our studios into our home. We actually moved. We didn't move our studios out of our home. We moved into a studio. So outside.
Okay.
So we have home and studio now.
Okay, so you do have it separate.
To be able to go to be creative in this virtual space that now everyone is in, to actually tap into some of those things and create things as well. So yeah.
Well, since you guys have your best friends that you wake up with every single morning, and you have your children at home, we're in the middle of COVID. So going away to an office, knowing that you can't necessarily run and have lunch with a friend down the street or do something on the weekend, where are you getting the inspiration to write what you're writing now?
Well, some of the album. Oh wait.
No, you go ahead. I'm on.
Some of the album
I'm make sure I'm in the box.
Right. Some of the album was started before lockdown.
Okay.
So it was some of it that started, when we were still kind of moving around. Post the whole, COVID lockdown situation, we were still really inspired by the experiences that we've had. This is the longest we've gone between albums. And so a lot of things happened to us as a couple and a family during that time. We had gone through serious loss in our family. My mother passed away. We went through that long grieving period. And then also too, just the experience of having older children.
Son went off to college.
Our son went to college.
Wow.
So many things happened in our lives to pull from. It was just amazing. But then once COVID hit, we, just like everybody else, watched the entire country, turn upside down with the uprisings. And not that it was the first time we've seen it, but obviously this was the first time that everybody had nowhere else to go to be distracted from it. So we were definitely inspired by that as well. And just by coming in, being more familiar with what was important. Because in this time period, if you haven't figured out now what's important.
Okay. That is the word everyone is echoing. Same sentiments. Everyone is saying that. If you don't know it by now, I don't know if you're going to ever figure it out.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Right. So we talked about your 7th album, Auntie and Unc.
Yep.
And you guys released a single, The Best Thing. Can we talk a little? It's okay. We expect them to call you.
Difficulties. Sorry.
It's live. That's all right. You're tuning into NNPA and Black Press USA. We are with the dynamic husband and wife duo, Kindred The Family Soul, Fatin and Aja, talking to us here live. And we're talking about their 7th album, long awaited. We can't wait. We want to nestle into it. So can you give us the vibe of this album?
The album is, like I said, well, let me just put it to you this way. Today, our debut album turned 18 years old. So we've been in this game a long time. We've been married almost 22 years. And this album is really about embracing and fully embracing that aspect of our lives, and that we are, proud of it, and that we feel like we have some wisdom to offer from that space. And so the name of the album, Auntie and Unc, is really about, just that fun, that everybody has that auntie and that uncle. They're not quite the elders, but they come to the cookout. They fun. They have a good time. They joke.
They on an interview and their phone is going off, and
it's
real. And it's like Auntie and Unc. They're here.
They love each other. They don't know quite how to work the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Darn it.
If the Wi-Fi go down, they gotta call you to ask how to fix.
Where the kids at?
Oh, I love it. I love it. When I heard that title, I think a lot of people feel like they know you, like you are family. I mean, and then that title, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I can feel that. Our peers, they feel like that's who they are right now in their lives. And then also too, we are at this place in our lives where we know adults, young adults, who grew up on our music. So now they're adults and maybe they have children, or maybe they don't, or maybe they just really can identify with us. So a lot of times I get comments from women who are in their early 20s, and they're like, oh, you're like, what's up, Auntie Aja? And I'm like, what's up? So it's a pleasure to still be doing this work. And
I like it better than Mom and Pop Kindred.
Oh, listen, okay.
I like Auntie and Unc. I'm settling into it. I'm maturing. We're getting older. We got a lot of nieces and nephews too.
Right.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes.
I think it just really makes sense.
Auntie and Unc sound like they still getting it on.
Yeah, they're still keeping busy. They know what's up.
Our family, those people, they're just like they are at the family cookout.
Right.
Do your kids realize your level of success?
Have
they ever shared that?
realize what we do, and our kids are proud of us. But their life is really, it's really like normal. I mean, they went to public school.
So is ours.
I mean, yeah, so is ours. I mean, we sit together at dinner and, you know, we do things that are goofy that they make fun of. And they're like, oh God, mom and dad, like, y'all, you know, sometimes they think we're the coolest people. And sometimes they're like, oh God, don't embarrass me.
I think the better question is, do you realize the magnitude of your success? And I mean, whatever you are portraying or feeling, you push that outwardly to them. And if we have humble spirits and we are grounded in who we are and what we do, which we are very grounded in that, and very humbled by it as well. So we don't look at ourselves as like, or we don't present ourselves in that way to them or to anyone else. I don't think so. It's not like, you know, your mom and dad is like, your mom and dad is singers. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We sing songs and we go out there and people like them, and thankfully, and that's what keeps this roof over our head and all of those different things. But just like your friend mom is a coach or your mom is a teacher, that's what she do. And she's great at it. And she's a superhero at that. And we like to believe that we're superheroes to our kids as being their parents, not about being singers or, you know, we just do that good.
And the cool part is that mostly it's their friends' parents that like our music. Not the friends.
We not for them. Like we not, you know.
Their friends are like, your parents are who?
That's cute. I love the innocence of that. So you guys met, if I'm correct, in 1997 and married a year later.
Yeah.
You knew clearly, what you said, 20 some years later?
Yeah. I mean,
She said we knew.
Well, did we know then? I mean, then we just were sure that it was the right decision for that moment. So we knew that we couldn't predict the future, but we knew that we were sure that we had chosen a solid person.
We knew we loved each other strong enough and good enough to make that jump, and we tried, and thankfully
the bravery of youth.
Right, exactly. And so when did Kindred the Family Soul really become something you guys decided this is what we need to do as a couple?
Well, he was working at a
you don't got to tell her where I was working. Where I was working at.
He was working.
I was working.
And I was home with our son. And he lost his job. And he got fired. He came home. He said, well, listen, like, I lost my job, but I'm thinking that we should just go back to doing music, because we had stopped doing music. We were both doing it separately, got married, we had a kid. We're like, oh, we're going to go off and have this regular life and do this. And then when the job was taken away, I just think it just a light clicked on in his head. And he was like, listen, this is what we do. If we're going to be, I know how to do that. Going to struggle, then we might as well struggle doing something that we love to do rather than something that someone can just snatch away, you know? And I was like, sure. And less than a year, just a few months really later, we were in the clubs.
Really?
Yeah.
We knew.
That's a big jump. I mean, I know you guys are, you know, we're joking and smiling about this, but you just said you had a baby. So bills have to be paid. The baby needs to be eaten. That's nothing but faith. I mean, you know, you have talent, but there's a lot of people who have talent out there that are not half as successful as you two are and loved internationally.
We just took the first step and the staircase started to appear. That really is the truth. Like you said, it's faith, but it was determination. It was dedication. It was the situation as well. Like, you know, like we had to make a way. The circumstance that was presented to us, we had a family, but we did have this talent. We knew that, okay, well, how do we put that together and then make that work for what we need right now? And it was like, we have these individual talents. Let's put them together as a collective and move forward as a family. And that's what we did. And thankfully, from that decision and that belief in that, this came about.
And so too, to be fair, just so anyone who's watching is just like, well, still, how did you do that? But we did have a really good family. We had a great family
support system.
You know, support system around us that would babysit, that would, you know, help us
give us
out,
give
us a couple hours.
The village.
And also, to my husband's credit, during that time period, is really serious. Like he would take little jobs doing this, that, and the other. He's like, look,
give me my love, girl. Give me my love.
Yeah, he was like, you can go.
I had a 560 credit score, and we've got it up to 565. Yes, we did.
He was rolling.
We
He worked at a flower shop. He delivered school lunches. He did all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, to me it's cool.
This is so good. People need to hear this. I think some think that you go from here to there, and people need to know that the grind is so different, and you still have to bring money in, so you still do your talent, but you've got to be smart about it. And I appreciate you telling he did all these different things to take care of you and his family.
Oh yeah. Always. I will have to. This is like, always. He has other beautiful things about him as a person, but one of the things that I've always admired about him is that when he promised, he sat and told my dad, he was like, look, I may not have much. He was like, but your daughter may not get every single thing she wants, but she will have everything that she needs. Oh. And in the last 22 years, I've gotten plenty of both. So I'm grateful.
One of the things that people said about you is that both of you, that you guys are a great example of true Black love. And it makes a lot of people smile when they see you. This industry on its own is not easy for individuals. For a couple, was it hard pitching the two of you? Because I don't know if I can put you guys in a box. And I know that sometimes the music industry, boy bands or all girl bands. So if they don't have a thing that's going on or a movement, they may not find a need, or I don't think people are going to gravitate to that. So did you have a challenge in people understanding who you were as artists?
Somewhat at the beginning, I guess, but the people who signed us, I guess they did buy into who we were and understood that somewhat. So we didn't have a lot to deal with once guess we got to that stage of they're going to be artists and they're going to come out kind of thing. But we did deal with that part of them thinking like, well, maybe y'all talking about who y'all are a little bit too much in the music, and that's too forward, because it was before that was in vogue, or Black love, right. The thing now was in vogue. So it's like, yeah, it's cool, it's cute, y'all a couple and stuff, but maybe we can, draw back a little bit on all this family talking. Y'all got all these kids and love and, getting together and hooking up. So it don't have to seem so connected. Right. Y'all could just be two people doing a song. Y'all don't have to be married doing the song.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those kinds of conversations
we got made fun of, because of the whole thing. You said now, you guys are so relatable. Mm. Yeah. But we got made fun of about that. It's like, they too regular, or, if I wanted to look at that, it's kind of like not enough fantasy.
Okay. Thing, because that's kind of like that's the juxtaposition of that. Like the thing that you would think that people are just going to make fun of, that more or less we're just claiming it. And it's just like, this is what it is. This is what you love. Yeah. We love these people. Right. We all have these people in our family. We like that we are these people in our family too, but there are people whom we look up to, who are our aunties and uncles, and whom we love that way. And so we want to kind of mirror that in some way, or give off that energy and collect that energy back from others who will enjoy what it is that we're trying to do.
Yeah. Do both of you write?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. And do you play any instruments?
I play the saxophone, you know what I mean? I'm no Charlie Parker. I'm no Coltrane, I'm no Kenny G either. But, I mess around a little bit. I started there. And, we are musically inclined, but we're not musicians.
No, just writers,
but we are definitely
singers.
Musically inclined. And we can, we can tap on the beat machine and put something together for you, Taylor.
Now, look, I got a text from somebody who's watching the show, and they want to know, they just feel like you guys apparently walk around singing. So is it like that? Do you guys just wake up and start humming something and jotting it down? I think that's what she's trying to ask. How does it start for you? Is it only in the studio? And it's D from DC.
I guess that goes in stages and spurts for anybody who does whatever they do. It would be like asking a basketball player, actually, are you always bouncing the ball? Are you always bouncing the ball? And I don't mean that disrespectfully.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, no, we're not always singing. We're not always thinking of songs. We're not always, running around. But it's not always just in the studio either. Right. But it comes and it goes and it comes and it goes and it comes and it comes and it comes. So you just never know when it's going to happen. But mostly when you're focused on making music, you know what I mean? Okay, this is the time we're going to be creative. We're going to listen to tracks to try to come up with songs. Those are the times that we are focusing in on, you know, producing something. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, it can happen in a myriad of ways. It can happen with Aja sitting somewhere quiet and doing it by herself. Yeah. It can happen with us both in the studio listening to some music together. It can happen where an idea just hits me in the car or on the toilet or wherever it might hit you. Wherever it might hit you.
And Brianna wants to know, you know, she said she loves that you guys are a couple, and she wants to know anyone at any time can kind of get burnt out. Do you guys, is it overwhelming with COVID and doing the business and being parents? Like you guys are literally together 24 hours.
Yeah, no, we're not together 24 hours per se.
Yeah, but we're not always together. Like sometimes he's at the office and I'm at home. And one of the great things about it is that we recognize the need for space. That's really important with so many children and with the marriage. But I was shaking my head, yes, in that, like, we get overwhelmed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely.
It's the same COVID-19 for us.
Yeah, come on again, baby. Okay. So yeah, I mean, of course, like, and we've had to figure out like how can we be healthy? How can we be okay? So I talked about the children's mental health, but our mental health is important as well. Like we have to be able to sit down and say, okay, wait a minute. You're acting a little triggered and weird. What's going on? What's the real issue? You have to look over at me. I'm okay. Sometimes it's me.
You acting a little weird.
Sometimes I act so weird. No, it's the checks and balances.
Yes.
And so now this, if anything, this has shown us that we had a checks and balance that we may not have noticed that we had that was already strong. And we were like, wow, okay. So this is showing us the things that we really were doing right. And it's helped us to kind of have the bravery to look at and say, okay, what do we need to shift so that we can all make it through this?
Just for a second, I wanted to say, your skin is looking really good. You've been drinking your water.
Minding my business.
I love how you guys just love each other and have no qualms about saying it. I do. I really do love that. Like I said, I was really looking forward to this interview because I feel like I know you. Clearly I don't, but I feel like from your performances and seeing you together in your videos, I just feel like you get like you've been in my head, you know, so it's really great seeing you together. And I know with all the things that this country, actually this world's been through, it just puts a smile on your face to see and hear from artists like you that are going through the same thing that we're going through, so that if there is something we hear from you, that we know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Now, your seventh album. No, go ahead.
I said we all need to feel that, and we all need to see that light at the end of the tunnel. God willing. I mean, that feels great to hear. To be honest,
the art should reflect life
from each other.
Yeah, it's so true. So we know that, you know, the culmination all week long that you guys have been all over talking about your seventh album, which it drops on Saturday. Your single, The Best Thing, already out. Crazy. Let's talk about some of the songs that are on there. And did any of you individually write one? Or, I mean, is there anything that's a special song for you individually?
That's good.
A special song.
I'm sure they're all special.
We wrote all of the records together. Yeah. So all the songs are lyrics and melody. We wrote all those songs. But they're all really important because they all really represent a specific feeling and emotion that we experienced.
Okay.
You know, and there's no real general moment on the album.
They are really great timestamps and time capsules of different moods and moments that actually experienced during the making of this album. Like it's very unique times and timings. I'm really happy about the whole of the project because I feel like those 4 to almost 5 years that it took us to make that album, there's almost something that signifies a little piece, if not all of each of those pockets, of each of those segments of that time. And of course, 2020 is in there, and the uprisings and the pandemic, and being out of work, and all of that is signified as well within the music. But it's all with love that is led with first. And that's always the tapestry and the thread that weaves it all together, even though it has different moods and different elements. I think there's joy, there's love, there's triumph, there's, there's just a lot of different moods. There's anger. I didn't want to say it.
Your wife's got your back for that one. She's got your back for that one.
There's a little bit of everything in there.
So, Best Thing.
Best Things is a song that really does encapsulate what we talked about at the top of this conversation, which is, if you haven't figured out what's important by now, I just don't know where you were for the past 12 months, and Best Things is really about that at the core of it, that, we live in a time where, and I'm very careful not to put a lot of blame on social media. I like social media, and I think a much can be done to further so many wonderful things using social media. But the dark side of it is just that it can be a place where if you don't see yourself mirrored, it can take you into a dark place. It can make you feel isolated. It can make you feel like who you are is not enough and what you have is not enough. And, and the song is really about kind of reiterating those things to the self and understanding that even life's challenges, that really you have access always to what is best, and what is best always includes you.
The Best Things is funny within the song because it's like a song that kind of started almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And Aja presented the hook and the verse to me, and I didn't really know where to take it initially. I was just kind of like, I love this, I like it, but it was just kind of like we kind of put it on the back burner for a while. And it was a lot of the life that we lived during COVID that helped me to finish that record off and feel like I finally found the frequency that she was on to finish my portion of that record and lived what I felt was a part of what she was talking about, and the uniqueness of all of that. So again, what I was saying about the timing and the timestamps and the time capsule, I don't want to make it seem like it's more than it is, but it's very unique and it's very special, and it feels like the songs have more life now than a usual project that we would do. I was talking about this on another interview the other day about like we would normally not really get a chance to perform the music that is on a new album before that new album comes out.
Sure.
Go on tour. But our first album wasn't done that way. Our first album was done that we were a band that was in clubs that people would come to see us perform. And so that was the demo tape, the performance. And then we had to translate that to a recording. And that was difficult. So now we're in a different space on this 7th album where, we're in a virtual space and we created this album. But we've gotten an opportunity to kind of perform and bring the songs to life a little bit before we actually get to go out and you get to hear it and feel that. And that feels different because the songs feel like they're alive and not just recorded and not just we produce them and they're going to be on the shelf. Like they really living and they feel like songs and not just
he
records.
likes it.
I'm sorry. That's what it
No, you started it, Aja. You started it. He said you came with the hook, and then eventually he filled everything in and made it happen. So that's pretty.
No, I wasn't saying I filled everything and made it happen. I'm just playing my.
No.
I just love you guys. I do.
No, but that particular verse is one of my favorite things he's ever written, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So you talked about favorites. That's one of my favorite moments for him as a songwriter. I listen to that verse all the time because it really does resonate with me. He says, I watched the water receding from the floods of yesterday, slow to drain, many puddles they remain, but right before your eyes, what was slippery, it dries, and becomes the open path to navigate your life. I think it's like one of the best lyrics I've ever known. And it really describes that experience of when you go through something deep, it does take a minute for it to recede. And even when it recedes, there's still wet spots. And then before you know it, even that goes away. And then you start to you get a clarity about what the next steps are. And for me, that's, so he says that it took him a minute, but, what he brought to the table after that has got to be one of my favorite moments that I've ever, experienced with him as a writer.
That is too fun. So who do you guys listen to relax or music that you enjoy? And I don't expect you, I want everyone to know you don't have to name everybody, but just a couple of people that you listen to that relax you or gets you in the groove of, hanging out with each other at home for now.
Well,
always
relax is always the classics. I mean, always the Soul Soldiers, the Marvins, the Donnies, the Arethas, the Gladyses. I mean, those are the mood setters. The Anita Bakers, they're the mood setters. The Sade's, But we got a lot of great friends who make music these days and who have contributed great music as well. The Jill Scotts, the Musiq Soulchild, and
Robert Glasper,
Robert Glasper,
we listen to all our peers.
And a lot of the new people who make music, the Ari Lennoxes and the Hers and the Lucky Days and that. We love them too. And even our son is making music now. Aquil Daoud.
Okay.
We listen to a little bit of everything. I mean,
what's his vibe?
Eats music.
Your son's vibe. What's his genre? Can it be put in the category?
I guess it's hip hop soul, all of the young people is into. He still love a little mom and dad too, so we got a little of us in there. Some
right,
but he's
but he's 21.
He's 21.
He's doing 21 things.
Yeah. That's right. Anyone else, child-wise, that wants to get into the industry or starting? You've seen them writing or singing or doing anything musically?
Not industry, but my 16-year-old goes to performing arts high school, and she's a vocal major. But the kids, and she's good. And my 18-year-old daughter, she raps, but she doesn't want nobody to know that, but she does.
She wants to know that, but
she, and my youngest, my twins, one of them is a writer, the other one is teaching herself to play piano.
Oh my goodness,
kind of getting good at it. So all of them have music in them or arts in them, but in our household, there's no grooming. You know what I mean? There's just enjoy being a kid. You never get that back.
Being a kid is fun.
It is fun.
That is so very important. Can I just tell you, when you just told me that, something came to me. I can see a TV show, a reality show with you guys. And the 6 kids, even though one's not in the home, that is perfect. We need to see that.
Well, we did turn the camera on ourselves some years ago. Now, this was quite some time ago. My 11-year-old was in my tummy, and we did a web series called 6 Is It.
Okay.
And everything. And it was kind of a time much like this one during a what do you call it? A recession.
Yes.
When we weren't traveling as much, and we opened up ourselves, and people saw a lot of our home life, and our kids were a lot younger then. But yeah, I mean, I think that we like to be transparent in our music, and we're very, very present on social media. We're very honest and open with everybody. And some things we just gonna have to keep to ourselves.
Okay, I understand that. But I heard that you guys are keeping really busy. So can we talk a little bit about the Kindred Presents Legacy Network?
Absolutely. Well, during the beginnings of COVID-19 and everything shutting down, as we mentioned, that we had gotten a studio and a place that we were initially thinking that we were going to use to rehearse and produce music and things of that nature to finish our album, which is what we were hoping to also do. Since everything started to close down, was really no reason to really be rehearsing to go out and to perform. And everything was turning into virtual events and concerts and people presenting their own shows and things of that nature. So we decided to take some of the content that we had already produced, which we have produced a show for 4 years called Kindred Presents, which was a performance and interview series where we would perform, where people would perform and we would interview them and pretty much get in depth and detail into different people's stories. And we were presenting that in a Facebook Live kind of fashion for many years. And we have produced almost 150 or more episodes of this program. So having a network and a place to house all of that content in one space was kind of an obvious thing to do, but we just hadn't really decided on it. But the pandemic kind of just laid it right in front of us, like this is what you should be doing to present and curate your material, and that more people can watch it. Right now, everybody's home, everybody's looking at everybody's looking for content. We've got a plethora of it. We got a myriad of it. And we know a lot of other great individuals who need that kind of outlet and platform as well. Even though there are many platforms that exist, the way in which that we were trying to do our framework and be artist friendly and, invite them in, it just made sense. So we did that and we built it. We built the app, we built the network, and we started to populate it with our content and reach out to other creatives as well to get their content. Since then, we've built a flagship program and a couple other documentary series and things in the works, and starting to work on syndicating the content and just growing and developing it.
So how can the public support your efforts?
Well, you can go and watch KP Legacy at kindredpresents.com. Mm-hmm. And just like you would when you're watching, public TV, PBS, and they tell you, hey, if you like this programming, you can support it by going to our website, kindredthefamilysoul.com. And right on the front page, you can help us to continue to produce all the content that we have. Many people have seen Kindred Presents as a show. Mm-hmm. And so again, if you want to see us continue to work towards not just the music, but through media, you can donate and you can watch.
Mm-hmm.
So how has the response been to this network?
Very good.
Response is overwhelmingly
We've been
good.
really, really grateful. Our fans came through in a beautiful way after Best Things came out, and really heavily supported us and really cheerleading us along, as well as our peers. So we're just really happy with it and, grateful to get the opportunity to do it.
Now, Celeste Hart wants you to talk about the festival. So it must be the Soul Food Festival in Charlotte. Please fill me in.
I'm not familiar with which festival that was.
She said, hello, love the Kindred Soul. Haven't missed a soul food festival in Charlotte. Enjoyed your back to school event also.
Oh yeah. I remember that down with
Sunshine.
With Sunshine Anderson and everybody down there.
So that's not something coming up. It's something you did.
No, this is something that happened.
This is something.
Thank you, Celeste.
What she needs to know about.
Okay.
Is the backyard barbecue
that's right.
4/3, which is April the 3rd, the week after our album comes out.
Yes.
The virtual backyard barbecue is going to feature new music from us, as well as fun, excitement, joy, and love that you need to be there for, because we can't come to your house.
Right. We can't come to your house.
Right.
It's going to be like a big old party.
Where do we need to go? How do we need to make sure that we're there for the backyard barbecue?
Well, kindredthefamilysoul.com will lead you there to get tickets to that, to the new album, to all the things that you want to find out about Kindred Presents Legacy Network. All of those things, you can find them also at kindredthefamilysoul.com.
Right there on the homepage.
That's a great way to support you. And like I said, this segment is really about the artists that we bring on. You also have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, we have a podcast, but she has a podcast.
We have a podcast called 10 Minutes with Kindred.
Okay.
You can find that on everywhere you find podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But just this year, I was asked to co-host on a podcast called J.Ill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jill Scott.
Yes.
Jill Scott presents J.Ill. And so Jill Scott has a podcast and asked myself to come on as a co-host, as well as Lydia St. Clair. And she's, a long-standing radio host and television host. And so we've had we've all known each other for 20 years. So then there's that part.
Longer than 20 years.
20 plus years.
So you're interviewing who?
Well, we do have guests on occasion, but mostly we just talk crap.
Oh, so it's us sitting around with you.
Yes.
Oh.
Girlfriend talk about all kinds of things. So we've talked about our relationship with our mothers. We talked about more serious things like survivors of sexual assault. We've talked about politics. We've talked about the music industry. We talked about just all the things that girlfriends might talk about.
Girlfriend talk on 1,000.
It is girlfriend talk on 1,000.
Okay, so where do we go for that?
We have a lot of brothers that listen to the show too, but it's girlfriend talk on 1,000. Like, and Jill says, Jill says it's conversation to spark conversation. That's the
you gotta listen.
You two seem like a perfect combination. When I think of the music and then thinking of you two sitting together, I know I'd like to be at that table. So how do we follow you into that podcast? That's a wonderful thing to go. And what a great outlet, considering now we're indoors, which we should be.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And, like I said, you can listen to it on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you listen to podcasts is there.
I love it.
I invite everybody to come and hang out with the girls.
Now, I heard there's a book. Is it out or coming out?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Taylor, you was on it. God, finish this thing together. Yeah.
So we're working on 2 book projects. One of them is like a retrospective of the time that we spent doing Kindred Presents.
Okay.
The absolutely amazing conversations we've had with so many artists. And when I say artists, we've also had,
intellectuals,
writers,
influencers,
politicians, all kinds of people on the show. And so that book is really more of a collector's item, featuring stories that they told, photos, exclusive stuff like that.
Talking about you.
I know.
You got to give it the book that's all the way in the back.
Two projects, but the other one is I'm currently writing a book right now. Mostly it's about transformative love, but I want people to think outside of the box of what they believe I'm talking about when I say that. I think they assume immediately that it's about us.
It is not.
But it's about a much broader concept of love.
You guys have fun together. I really can tell you have fun together.
Oh, we definitely have fun.
We have fun.
You got to have fun in this world.
Oh my goodness. So you have 2 books, the podcast, you have the Backyard Barbecue, which is April 3rd. That's open to the public, and the album and 6 kids. And so I say to women out there who say they don't have time, where are you getting this time?
Oh,
and husband.
The first 5 things that we got going on.
No, that's it.
Oh, okay. I thought she was trying to say we had too much going on.
No. I'm just saying, for those people who say I don't have enough time, you're making it happen. It's a priority. You make it happen. And I do think this pandemic has made a lot of people kind of sit back and prioritize and do things properly instead of using the excuse I don't have time.
Well, the funny thing about it is that we eased into it. And before we did it, we had so many things happening. Yeah. But we took some time to heal out from all that was going on. I just want people to know that. I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, use this time. You better use this time. If you don't use this time, you didn't do the right thing. No. However, I was doing that in the beginning,
and I felt like that was a mistake.
Yeah.
I felt like, because I didn't understand the gravity of what COVID was and what it was going to be and how we were going to be dealing with that. I did assume that this is something that'll blow over, and this is, but use the time, while we got this month or 2 or this 6 weeks or however long it felt like in the beginning.
Yeah, we all thought it was a long Christmas break. I'll be honest. They just thought this was a long Christmas break, honestly.
Right.
I was like, you better use this time while you got it and, make something happen.
Yeah.
Little did I know, or little did I understand. I'm still grateful for what we were able to do, but just how difficult that might have been and was for so many people.
Yeah.
And so many millionaires have been made during the 2020.
Yeah.
2020, a lot of millionaires have been made just being resourceful and pivoting from what they were doing to what they're doing now.
I definitely think a lot of people, but I think what happened for those people really, and I believe this wholeheartedly,
if we can get a couple of thousand of them millions, we'll be happy.
That they were on a trajectory and that was their story and that was meant for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be really careful to make people understand that everyone's journey is unique.
That's right. That's right.
And every part of it is important and every part of it is valuable. And just because it does not garner you $1 million
That's right.
or a great business idea or a book or a network
or a barbecue
or a barbecue
doesn't matter.
or that it is still deeply, deeply important, and that is something that I want people to be present for. If you're present in that moment, then you'll be present for the others too.
Man, we survivors. If you watching this, we survivors.
I love it.
We up, we alive, we listening to each other.
If it's up, if it's up.
What? You listen to that too?
Something that
okay. See, that's why we call you auntie. See?
Exactly.
I don't know if people caught that, but I did. Okay,
yes,
I caught that, auntie.
They caught it. They caught it.
I caught it, auntie.
Yeah, auntie can pray for you, but then drop it like it's hot. You know what I'm saying?
And we like it when auntie drops it. Like
I love it. You know, I know we have about 4 or 5 minutes left. I also have to ask you real quick about this film production thing. What's going on with that?
Well, we do want to put together a film for this album, and initially the album's theme was around, I guess, a blaxploitation film was kind of we had in our mind.
Yeah,
and that style of film, but bringing it into present day. We didn't get an opportunity yet to do that, but we are hoping that if the album is really well received, God willing, it will be. You know, that we will be able to, put that extension into the ether as well. And so we're working towards that. And we've got a lot of film ideas and film concepts. And of course, now we have a network. So we've got a lot of resourceful people around us and a good team around us to try to get some of these things done. So look for that, but that's a little bit further down the road.
So when people say Kindred the Family Soul, what do you hope they either think or feel about your music? I mean, as far as a legacy.
Oh,
mostly that it was good and that they enjoyed it and that, there's a lot of good memories associated and attached to it. I think that that's the most that most people would ask about making music. That you put it out there with the intention and hope that it will resonate with people and that they'll enjoy it. But I think that, much of our music is in the title. Family and soul and love is from Kindred the Family Soul. So I hope that every song and everything that we put into the world, that people get a little bit of that from it.
That's so very important. So again, for those that might just be tuning in, the Backyard Barbecue, April 3rd. Details.
April 3rd.
Yep, and you can get tickets right now.
You can get tickets right now at kindredthefamilysoul.com.
And so that's going to be a performance. You're going to be talking. What's the mixture for those who may not have heard you the first time you said it?
There'll be a DJ. There'll be performance. There'll also be a few little special guests, and just fun, good old family fun. I know we miss getting together.
It's a grown-up good time.
Yeah.
Grown-up good time. We wish that we could get out to the clubs and perform and get to everybody, but right now we know that we're not able to do that. So how can we do that in a digital way and bring it to your home and bring you the grown-up good time that we would have if we were all together in person with your favorite auntie and uncle? And we put it together, and we put it together just for you, specially intentioned and curated, designed for you at home, safely, where you can enjoy it in whatever way in which you like.
Exactly.
You can willing,
you can
really
make your deviled eggs
and
you'll
probably get a
play
it again and play it again and play it again.
Indeed.
So with this happening, there is a chance that we could see you again on social media, because it looks like, we're getting to vaccinate, thanks to President Biden. 2 million people are being vaccinated now. So they're saying if everything continues to go and we can keep the numbers of new cases down, that America could possibly celebrate the 4th of July with others. So does that mean possibly we could see you guys on the stage or at some nightclub fairly soon after?
Moment that America says that we can go and perform at places and nightclubs and that everything is okay,
and it's actually safe.
Yes.
Safe, and that everybody, who are we to be sitting at home and then putting together something for you at home? We would love to be there with you. That is
So I have to ask you this question. So are you guys registered or willing to take the vaccine if offered?
I've already taken the vaccine.
Auntie, you already ready. So wait, Unc, I didn't see you move. Hold on. I don't see him. Well,
You don't see who what?
You moved out the way. So Auntie, so okay, so your wife is already taking it. So where are you, Unc?
I haven't taken the vaccine yet, Taylor, and I don't understand really the questioning. Why would I take the vaccine?
He's trying to see what happened to me.
I haven't needed
I just asked
yet, and they haven't made me take the vaccine. So if it is necessary for me to take the vaccine, I haven't been sick, then I will take the vaccine. But at this present time, no, I have not taken the vaccine just yet.
Okay. So
well, thank you for asking me that.
Waiting to see what happens.
Putting me on the spot in this situation.
no, listen, we have to talk about this because we are being disproportionately affected by it. And you guys actually represent America because half are saying yes and the other half, and I'm just asking. So there's no wrong or right answer. So how was it? Did you have any soreness in your arm, Auntie?
I had soreness in my arm, and, but other than that, nothing. So, I think I want to be clear that, I recognize, especially for Black people, that there's so much concern, and it's real. It comes from a real place. We've gotten burned many, many times when it comes to, the modern medicine and pharmaceutical companies. And, we have a lot to be concerned with. And even within the COVID crisis, they were saying we're 4 times likely to not walk out of those hospitals just simply because we are Black. So I understand so much of people's, feelings about it. And so I think it's important to continue to address people's fears in a real way and talk to our community about the things that they're deeply concerned about without making them feel as if that they are being unreasonable, because they are not. They have concerns that come from real historical
Taylor, are you married?
Precedent.
Well, yes and no. So yes, I'm getting back with my wonderful husband. Yes. So the answer would be yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes,
Have
I
you
am.
been vaccinated?
No, I haven't. But can I tell you something? Oh, you're trying to turn it on me, Uncle. But listen, because of my because of my age, and I don't have any medical conditions right now that make me a priority, I think I'm going to be at the end of the line. But I have registered for the state and for the county. And when they tell me you can come, I will be in line. I was concerned about it, but what I do, I'm in front of people. I'm in front of people. I'm normally not home like I am now. I'm usually doing stories and in the community. And I have 2 elderly parents. They're in the 80s. They probably wouldn't want me to say that, but that I want to think about. And I really would hate giving it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but I am registered.
Yeah, I have a pre-existing, so I have to be.
Okay. Yeah. So I fully understand it, and I'm telling you, I wasn't doing that to be funny, and I'm just so glad that both of you guys had, because you represent, again, you represent America, not even a Black thing, America.
I respect it, but I'm just
situation.
making light of it in retrospect because I hadn't been asked that question, but I know that it might be on people's minds, and I know that we are people who people look to and they want to hear that, and I don't have a problem with it, but
But trust me, there's a whole.
I know there are differences of opinion.
There's a whole group of Black folk in my life. There's a whole group of Black folk in my life looking at me like, we just gonna watch to see what.
Well, it is. So I'm just prayerful that we get enough people, so maybe we get this herd immunity, and that we can beat. July 4th will truly be a day of independence for the nation if we're able to get enough people vaccinated. And I know I want to do this real quick. I want to, again, April 3rd, backyard barbecue. Where do they go to get information? Because it's something that you guys are putting out there. We've been missing you guys. Your 7th album drops on Saturday. We are so excited. Auntie and Unc, that's the name of it. So we can't wait to support you.
Right there, you can see it right there, kindredthefamilysoul.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you can go there right now and it will link you to all of the places that you need to go in order to get the tickets, in order to get the new album, in order to follow Kindred The Family Soul, in order to find out about Legacy Network as well. We don't want to confuse you with too many links.
Sure.
But one will give you everything.
Magical. It's
I love it.
And do a little due diligence. I promise you, we are all there.
Yes.
Kindred The Family Soul, Fatin and Aja. I feel like really you are my auntie and unks. I really have enjoyed this interview with you, and may God continue to bless you and your family. And I will be supporting this. I can't wait to come to the backyard barbecue.
Please.
Some ribs.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Well, that'll do it for this edition of NNPA and Black Press USA. We want to thank Kindred The Family Soul and, of course, Concert Connects Talent Booking Agency for making this a reality. Until next week, everyone, God bless and goodbye.
See ya.